Namaste dosto. Welcome to my YouTube channel called Avdi Manufacturing. So today we are going to discuss on a topic called Annex-1, which is essential principle of safety and performances for the medical devices other than the in vitro medical devices, which is one of the annexure in order to get your medical device registration process done as per the SFDA. So let's start today's lecture. So first of all, you need to make a document similarly in reference of Annex 1. So you need to mention your device name, then you need to mention UDI, followed by the device configuration and the device brief description. The moment you fulfill all this information, now you need to give an answer to each of the requirement, right? Or each of the requirement as per the essential principle. Point number 1. The devices shall achieve the performance intended by the manufacturer and shall be designed and manufactured in such a way that during the normal condition of the use they are suitable for their intended purpose. They thus shall be safe and effective and shall not comprise the clinical condition or the safety of the patient or the safety and health of the user or where the applicable other person, provided that any risk which may be associated with the considered acceptable risk. So my friends, generally the point number 1, ask a question to a medical device which has been manufactured by any manufacturer, that whether this device will be able to achieve the performance as per the claim given in the IFU against the intended use. This is the first aspect. Whether using these medical devices, will it really going to impact the health of the end user? I mean from the safety perspective. So you need to give an evidence against point number 1. So whether this point number 1 applies to the devices? Yes. So you should mention yes. Which standard apply against this point number 1? You need to mention that standard. Whether the method of the conformity and the solution is applied, give that information. And identity of a specific document. So when you are doing a design and development for these medical devices, you must be having your own D&D file, which is a design and development file or the design history file. So you need to quote a reference of that section which is quoted in your device master file or the D&D file. Point number 2. Whether the requirement in this appendix to reduce risk as far as possible means the reduction of risk as far as possible without adversely affecting the benefit risk ratio. So now this question is asking whether if I reduce a risk on your medical devices, will this is going to impact the benefit of your medical devices? I mean, are we going to sacrifice a risk against the benefit? You need to answer to this question. Same like give the 4 necessary informations. Point number 3. The manufacturer need to establish and implement the document and maintain a risk management system which is as per the ISO 14971 throughout the life cycle of a product. So after doing a risk management, they need to comply or they need to give an evidence against against this 6 subsection. A. They should establish and document a risk management plan for the each devices like the RMP file. They should also identify the foreseeable hazard associated with each devices. They should evaluate the risk. They should control and eliminate the risk. They should evaluate the impact of the information from the production phase or from the post-market surveillance system or the frequency of occurrence and all. Then point number F, they should evaluate the impact of the information referred to the point E. So basically the point number 3 is more or less related to the risk management file, which is the RMF, which you usually being a designer of a medical device, you will perform it, I am pretty sure. Point number 4. The risk control measure adopted by the manufacturer for the design and manufacture the devices shall conform to the safety principle, taking amount of generally knowledge state of art. So whatever the pathway which you're going to fulfill, that should not impact the safety aspect. So you need to keep in your mind. Now point number 5. In eliminating or reducing a risk related to the user, the manufacturer shall reduce as far as possible the risk related to the ergonomic features of the devices and the environment where the device is going to be placed. So my friends, I'm not going to go into deep into detail, right? Because the point number 3, 4, 5 and 6, it is more or less related to the risk management part, I mean the RMP. I'm going to straight away jump into the point number 7. The devices shall design, manufacture and package in such a way that the characteristic and the performance during meeting the intended use are not adversely affected during the transport and the storage. For example, though there will be a fluctuation of the temperature and humidity taking account of the interaction information provided by the manufacturer. So this point number 7 is more or less, it is speaking about the robustness of your medical devices. How much it is going to bear a stress in a given environmental condition without impacting its intended use. So you should design your medical device in such a way that it should not impact its performance as per the claim given in the IFU. So you need to carry a stress study on the product before you place into the market. Point number 8. Again, it's talking about the foreseeable risk, right? So I am again not going to go into this part. Now, for the point number device, for devices which do not have the medical intended purpose but shall be treated as a medical devices in this regulation, the general safety requirements set out in EP1 and EP2, which is Essential Principle 1 and Essential Principle 8, shall be understood to mean that the devices when used under the condition for the purpose intended do not present a risk or represent any risk, my friends. I hope now this is clear, my friends. Now let's speak about the design and the manufacturing requirements, which is point number 10, which is chemical, physical and the biological properties. 10.1. Now the devices shall be designed and manufactured in such a way as to ensure that the general characteristic and performance requirements are fulfilled, keeping in mind the design perspective. They should select those material and the substances which is not going to impact the performance. They should check the compatibility between the material and the substances used, such as the biological tissues, cells and the body fluids, taking account for the intended purpose of the devices. The compatibility should also be checked between the different parts of the devices which consist of more than one implantable layer parts. The impact of the processes on the material properties. The result of the biophysical or the modeling research or the validity has been demonstrated beforehand. The mechanical property of the material used, reflecting the appropriate material such as strength, ductility, fracture resistance and all those shall be taken into the consideration during the design and development or the stage. The surface properties. The confirmation that the device meets any defined chemical on the physical specification. 10.2. The device needs to be designed and manufactured in such a way so that the risk can be minimized posed due to the contaminants and residue to the person involved in the transport, storage and use of the devices and to the patient, taking account of the intended purpose of the devices, my friends. So this is very simple to understand. In 10.3, the device shall be designed and manufactured keeping in mind that if they enter into their contact during the normal use or during the routine procedure, the devices are intended to administer medical product. They shall be designed and manufactured in such a way that the compatible with the medical product doesn't bear any risk or any safety aspect of the patient or the end user. So now I will not be discussing more in detail regarding the Annex-1, which is the essential principle checklist for the safety and the performance of the medical device other than IVD. So I would request all of you to please go to the remaining points, and this is much more similar to the points which we discussed earlier. So point number 10, 11, all those belongs to the device design and all aspects. So now in the subsequent lecture, I'll be bringing a lecture on a topic called Annex 2. Hence, Please do like my video, comment, subscribe and share in a network. Till then, thank you, take care, bye bye.